What if the next coin you find isn't just spare change, but a hidden wheat penny that collectors are quietly hunting for right now? These old copper cents may look ordinary, yet a single date, mint mark, or small detail could turn something worth 1 cent into something far more valuable. Before you ignore your coins or spend them without a second thought, take a closer look, because one wheat penny in your hands could be the kind that changes everything. If you have this coin, you're the luckiest person in the world, because what looks like an ordinary penny in your hand could quietly be hiding a story of history, rarity, and a value that most people would never expect from something so small. And today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces ever minted in American coinage, the 1936 wheat penny. Imagine holding a coin that has survived nearly a century, passed through countless hands, witnessed the rise and fall of economies, lived through wars, depressions, and technological revolutions, and yet still exists today, perhaps unknowingly sitting in a jar, drawer, or even in your pocket change. This is not just a coin. This is a time capsule, and its journey begins in a very different world than the one we know today. Back in 1936, the world was still recovering from the Great Depression, a period that reshaped economies, lives, and the way people viewed money itself. Coins like the wheat penny were not collectibles at the time. They were everyday necessities used for bread, bus fares, and basic transactions. The idea that one of these pennies could one day be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars would have sounded unbelievable to the people who first received them. And yet, here we are decades later, where collectors and experts closely examine these very same coins for rare characteristics that can dramatically increase their value. The 1936 wheat penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse showcases two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. These wheat stalks gave the coin its nickname, and they remained part of the design until 1958, after which they were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The simplicity of the design is part of its charm, but beneath that simplicity lies a level of detail and variation that collectors obsess over. The 1936 wheat penny was produced in 3 main mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint marked its coins differently, or in some cases, not at all. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while those from Denver bear a D, and those from San Francisco carry an S. These mint marks are small details, but they play a crucial role in determining rarity and value. For example, certain mint combinations and production numbers are much lower than others, which makes specific versions of the 1936 wheat penny significantly more desirable among collectors. But what truly makes some of these coins stand out is not just their mint mark, but their condition. Coins are graded based on their preservation, ranging from heavily worn examples that have circulated for decades to pristine, uncirculated specimens that appear almost untouched since the day they were minted. A 1936 wheat penny in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents or a couple of dollars. However, when you start looking at coins in mint state condition, especially those with sharp details, original luster, and minimal wear, the value begins to climb dramatically. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Certain 1936 wheat pennies were struck with errors or unique characteristics that make them exceptionally rare. Mint errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or other anomalies that occur during the minting process. These imperfections, rather than reducing value, can actually increase it significantly because collectors are constantly searching for unique variations that stand apart from standard production coins. A well-known example is the double die obverse, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. Under magnification, these coins reveal subtle but noticeable doubling in the text or features, making them highly sought after. Auction houses have played a major role in bringing attention to these rare varieties. Over the years, high-grade examples of the 1936 wheat penny have appeared in major auctions where competitive bidding drives prices higher and higher. When multiple collectors recognize the rarity and condition of a specific coin, the demand can escalate quickly, sometimes resulting in astonishing final sale prices. These auction moments are often where records are set and where the true market value of a rare coin is revealed to the world. It is not uncommon for exceptional specimens of the 1936 wheat penny to achieve thousands of dollars, and in rare cases, even more depending on pedigree, certification, and eye appeal. Another factor that contributes to the coin's value is its certification by professional grading services. Coins that have been authenticated and graded receive a numerical grade that reflects their condition on a standardized scale. A higher grade typically indicates a better preserved coin, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that have been professionally verified. A 1936 wheat penny in top-grade condition, especially one that has been certified and preserved in a secure holder, becomes far more desirable than an uncertified example of similar appearance. Collectors are not just buying metal when they pursue coins like the 1936 wheat penny. They are investing in history, scarcity, and the thrill of discovery. There is always a possibility that an overlooked coin sitting in a collection or an old jar could turn out to be far more valuable than expected. This uncertainty is part of what keeps the hobby alive and exciting. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story includes hidden value that only reveals itself when carefully examined. If you happen to come across a 1936 wheat penny, the first thing you should do is check its condition, mint mark, and any unusual characteristics it might have. Look closely at the details, especially the lettering and the portrait of Lincoln. If you notice anything that seems unusual, it could be worth further investigation. Even small differences can make a significant impact on value. And remember, coins that appear ordinary at first glance can sometimes turn out to be extraordinary upon closer inspection. As we continue exploring the significance of this coin, it becomes clear why collectors remain fascinated by it. The combination of historical context, design elegance, mint variations, and potential errors creates a perfect storm of collectible appeal. It is not just about rarity alone, but the intersection of multiple factors that together elevate certain examples far beyond their face value. The 1936 wheat penny stands as a reminder that even the most common-looking objects can hold hidden worth. And now, after understanding its history, its production, its variations, and its place in the world of numismatics, we arrive at the moment many viewers have been waiting for. In exceptional cases, particularly for coins that are in top mint state condition, possess rare varieties, or have been verified through major auction listings, the 1936 wheat penny has reached values that can approach around $80,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. What began as a simple 1-cent coin could, under the right circumstances, become a life-changing discovery. These high-end valuations are not typical for every coin, but they represent the absolute peak of what this penny can achieve when rarity, condition, and demand all align perfectly in the marketplace, often driven by competitive auction environments, where collectors are willing to go to great lengths to secure a truly exceptional piece. So the next time you come across a penny from 1936, take a closer look. Don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Examine it carefully, appreciate its history, and consider the possibility that you might be holding something far more valuable than it first appears. Because in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest surprises. And in rare moments, those surprises can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you have this coin, you are the luckiest person in the world, because what you might be holding in your hand is not just a simple penny, but a piece of history that has quietly traveled through time for nearly a century, carrying with it stories of an era defined by recovery, change, and resilience. And today, we are uncovering the hidden truth behind a 1939 wheat penny, a coin that many people overlook every single day without realizing its potential significance. Imagine the year 1939. The world was on the brink of monumental change, with global tensions rising and uncertainty spreading across nations. In the United States, life was still influenced by the aftermath of the Great Depression, and everyday currency like the wheat penny played a crucial role in daily transactions. This was not a collectible at the time. It was simply money used by ordinary people for everyday needs. Bread, milk, transportation. These coins passed through countless hands, unnoticed and unappreciated for anything beyond their face value. Yet decades later, these same coins have become the subject of intense interest among collectors who understand that within these small copper discs lies both history and hidden value. The 1939 wheat penny is part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features the well-known portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays two wheat stalks framing the denomination and country name. This design remained in circulation for nearly 5 decades, making wheat pennies one of the most recognizable coin types in American history. However, despite their common appearance, not all 1939 wheat pennies are equal in terms of rarity or value. These coins were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint contributed to the total production, but they did so in varying quantities, and this difference plays an important role in determining rarity today. Philadelphia minted coins typically do not carry a mint mark, while Denver coins feature a small D and San Francisco coins display an S. At first glance, these markings may seem insignificant, but to collectors, they are essential clues that help identify the origin and potential scarcity of a coin. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1939 wheat penny is its availability in a wide range of conditions. Millions were produced, meaning that circulated examples are still relatively easy to find. These coins often show signs of wear, such as fading details, smoothing of Lincoln's portrait and dull surfaces. In such conditions, their value remains close to face value or only slightly higher. However, when a 1939 wheat penny is found in uncirculated or mint state condition, the situation changes dramatically. Coins that have retained their original luster, sharp details, and minimal imperfections become highly desirable among collectors who are willing to pay a premium for preservation and eye appeal. Another factor that can influence the value of a 1939 wheat penny is the presence of mint errors or unique varieties. Errors occur during the minting process when something goes slightly wrong, resulting in coins that differ from standard production. These can include double dyes, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. While these may have been considered mistakes at the time of production, today they are often prized by collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. A 1939 wheat penny with noticeable error can attract significant attention, especially if the error is clear and well-preserved. Collectors and enthusiasts often rely on close inspection tools, such as magnification, to identify subtle differences in these coins. Small variations in lettering, spacing, or design elements can indicate a variety that is not immediately visible to the naked eye. This level of detail is part of what makes coin collecting such an engaging hobby, as it combines elements of history, art, and careful observation. When discussing value, it is important to understand that not all 1939 wheat pennies are worth large sums. Many will remain modest in value, especially those that show significant wear. However, certain examples, particularly those in high mint state grades or those with rare characteristics, can reach much higher price points. Over time, these exceptional coins have appeared in competitive auction environments where collectors actively bid against one another, sometimes driving prices upward when multiple individuals recognize the same level of quality and rarity. These moments highlight how demand can influence value in ways that go far beyond the coin's original purpose as currency. Grading plays a crucial role in determining how much a coin might be worth. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on their condition and assign them a numerical grade that reflects their quality. A higher grade typically indicates better preservation, sharper details, and fewer imperfections. For the 1939 wheat penny, a coin that achieves a high grade and maintains strong visual appeal can become significantly more valuable than a lower grade counterpart. Certification also adds a layer of trust and authenticity, making it easier for collectors to buy and sell with confidence. It is also worth noting that color and surface quality can influence value. Copper coins like the 1939 wheat penny naturally change color over time, shifting from bright red when freshly minted to brown as they age. Coins that retain more of their original red or red-brown coloration are often more desirable, especially in higher grades. The combination of color, strike quality, and overall preservation all contribute to how a coin is perceived in the collector market. If you ever come across a 1939 wheat penny, it is worth taking a closer look rather than overlooking it as ordinary change. Check the date carefully, examine the mint mark if present, and observe the overall condition of the coin. Even small details can make a difference. What may appear to be a simple penny could turn out to be something far more interesting when evaluated more closely. The excitement surrounding coins like the 1939 wheat penny lies in the possibility that hidden value may still exist in places people least expect. Coin jars, old collections, inherited boxes, or even loose change can sometimes contain coins that have been sitting unnoticed for decades. This element of discovery is what continues to attract both beginners and experienced collectors alike, as every coin examined carries a potential to reveal something unique. And now, when we look at the highest tier examples of the 1939 wheat penny, those that are in exceptional condition, professionally graded, and possibly enhanced by rare traits, the value can rise significantly. In some of the most notable cases, such coins have been associated with valuations reaching into the tens of thousands of dollars, with top examples approaching around $80,000 under the right circumstances, particularly when quality, rarity, and demand intersect at the highest level. These outcomes are not typical for every coin, but they demonstrate the upper limits of what a seemingly ordinary penny can achieve when it meets the standards that collectors are searching for, often influenced by competitive auction environments where exceptional pieces are highly sought after. So if you ever find yourself holding a 1939 wheat penny, take a moment to appreciate what you have in your hand. It may look small, simple, and familiar, but within it lies a connection to history, a link to a different era, and possibly, in rare cases, a value that goes far beyond its face. Because sometimes, the most unassuming coins carry the most surprising stories, and in the world of coin collecting, those surprises can be worth far more than anyone expects. And with that, we reach the end of today's journey into the 1939 wheat penny, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but holds a deeper story once you truly understand what to look for. Whether it's the historical era it represents, the subtle differences in mint marks, the importance of condition, or the rare varieties that collectors constantly search for, this small piece of copper continues to prove that value is not always obvious. So before you overlook that old penny sitting in your drawer, coin jar, or pocket change, take a second look. Because as we've seen today, coins like the 1939 wheat penny can sometimes surprise you in ways you would never expect. And in the world of coin collecting, those surprises can turn something simple into something truly remarkable. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more hidden treasures like this, make sure to stay tuned, because there are many more coins out there waiting to be uncovered, and who knows, the next one we talk about might already be in your possession right now. If you have this coin, you're the luckiest person in the world, because what looks like just another old penny could actually be a small piece of American history that has quietly survived for more than 7 decades. And today we are uncovering the story behind the 1953 wheat penny, a coin that many people still overlook without realizing that certain versions of it can carry surprising value and collector demand. Picture the year 1953. The world was in a period of post-war growth and transformation. The United States was experiencing economic expansion, new technologies were emerging, and everyday life was becoming more modern. Coins like the wheat penny were still actively used in daily transactions, passing from hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, and local markets. At that time, nobody thought of these coins as collectibles. They were simply tools of commerce. Yet today, these same coins are carefully studied, graded, and collected by enthusiasts who understand that even common-looking pennies can hold hidden significance depending on their condition, rarity, and characteristics. The 1953 wheat penny was minted at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located beneath the date on the obverse side of the coin. This detail may seem minor, but it plays an important role in identifying the coin's origin. The obverse features a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays the iconic wheat stalks that define the wheat penny series. These wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, creating a simple yet timeless design that remained in circulation for decades. Millions of 1953 wheat pennies were produced, making them relatively common in circulated condition. Because of this high mintage, most examples you encounter today will not be extremely valuable on their own. Many of these coins show signs of wear, including smoothing of Lincoln's facial features, fading of the wheat lines on the reverse, and a loss of the original mint luster. In such cases, their value is often modest, sometimes only a small premium over face value. However, the story changes significantly when a coin is found in exceptional condition. Uncirculated or mint state examples of the 1953 D-wheat penny are much more desirable. These coins have not been heavily handled or circulated, meaning they retain sharp details, original shine, and a cleaner surface. Collectors often look for coins with strong eye appeal, good strike quality, and minimal marks or blemishes. Even among uncirculated coins, differences in preservation can lead to noticeable variations in value. A coin that appears bright, well-centered, and free of significant contact marks will typically attract more attention than one with dull surfaces or visible imperfections. Another factor that collectors pay close attention to is color. Copper coins like the 1953 D-wheat penny naturally change color over time. When freshly minted, they exhibit a bright red tone, but as they age, they gradually transition through red-brown to a darker brown shade. Coins that retain more of their original red or red-brown coloration are generally more desirable, especially when combined with high-grade condition. The combination of color and preservation can significantly influence how a coin is perceived in the collector market. While the 1953 D-wheat penny does not have widely known major varieties like some other coins, it can still be affected by minor minting variations or subtle differences that collectors may notice under close examination. These can include small anomalies in strike quality, slight doubling in lettering, or variations caused by the minting process. Although these features may not always dramatically increase value, they can still add interest for specialized collectors who focus on detailed aspects of coin production. When it comes to valuation, most circulated 1953 D-wheat pennies remain affordable and accessible, often valued at only a small amount above face value. However, higher-grade uncirculated examples can command stronger prices, especially when certified by professional grading services. Coins that receive high numerical grades are considered better preserved and more visually appealing, which makes them more desirable in the eyes of collectors. Certification also provides assurance regarding authenticity and condition, which is important in the marketplace. Auction environments play an important role in determining how much collectors are willing to pay for exceptional coins. When high-grade examples of the 1953 D-wheat penny appear in competitive listings, collectors may bid against each other, sometimes driving prices higher based on demand, condition, and presentation. While not every coin reaches extreme values, standout specimens with superior grading and eye appeal can achieve significantly higher prices compared to typical circulated examples. If you happen to find a 1953 D-wheat penny, it is worth taking a closer look before dismissing it as just another common coin. Check the condition carefully. Observe the details on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks, and look for any signs of exceptional preservation or unusual characteristics. Even small differences can matter when it comes to determining collectible interest. The fascinating part about coins like this is that they are still out there, quietly waiting to be discovered. Many are sitting in old collections, coin jars, or inherited boxes, untouched for years. The possibility that a seemingly ordinary penny could hold unexpected value is what continues to attract both beginners and experienced collectors into the hobby. And while the average 1953 D-wheat penny may not reach extremely high values, exceptional examples in top condition, especially those with strong eye appeal and high professional grades, can be worth far more than their face value, sometimes reaching hundreds or even more depending on market demand and collector interest. These top-tier coins are the ones that tend to stand out in auctions, where competition among collectors can elevate prices for the finest available pieces. So the next time you come across a 1953 D-wheat penny, don't rush past it. Take a moment to examine it closely, appreciate its history, and consider the journey it has taken over the decades. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a small penny can carry a big story, and sometimes that story is more valuable than it first appears. And that brings us to the end of today's journey into the 1953 D-wheat penny, a coin that may seem simple at first glance, but holds decades of history, craftsmanship, and hidden potential within its small copper frame. While most of these pennies are still modest in value, the real excitement comes from discovering those exceptional pieces that stand out in condition, color, and detail, because those are the ones that collectors truly chase. So before you overlook that old penny sitting in a jar, a drawer, or tucked away in a forgotten collection, take a closer look, because what appears ordinary today could surprise you tomorrow. Coins like the 1953 D-Wheat penny remind us that history is often closer than we think, and sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest stories. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned, because there are many more hidden coin secrets waiting to be uncovered, and the next one could be the one that changes everything for you.